Awesome.
All
Are we
right,
underway?
guys. Yeah, all right, guys. So today we have something very different, and many of you guys might not know them, but it's Bounty Sports, and we have with us, and we're lucky enough to have Jess and Mark, and as the founders, and Nikki G is one of the advisors. He's a Genesis holder, and he's been with us. He bought off of the secondary. He's the fucking man. Appreciate everything that he has done for the community and for the space. And I'm not gonna I talk a lot normally. That's like my thing, but like on my AMAs, I want to give you guys like the chance to kind of just like pretend that these guys know nothing about Bounty Sports and just like go and just try to convince everyone, and tell them all about the cool things, things like why you guys are different than other projects, like, just all that good stuff. So I'm just gonna hand it over to you guys right now, and let me first by say thank you so much for coming out here and taking time out of your busy day, because that's not easy, and I know founders and everyone are action-packed days and just have meetings and VCs all the time. So I completely get it. So thank you guys so much, and you guys have the floor.
Yeah, awesome. Really appreciate you. Thank you for that. And thanks to everyone that has taken time out of their day to come join it with us. My name is Jess, obviously. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bounty Sports. With me on stage is Nikki G, our advisor, and Mark, my business partner and the chief marketing officer of Bounty. Just to give you guys a quick background, I'm an avid sports fan, actually Canadian guy now living in Las Vegas because of Bounty. Big sports fan. I do like to gamble on sports. But when I was in college, I really wanted to more of a social experience. So I joined a lot of these fantasy pools, but I just didn't have the time, especially in college. I was working, I was in school. So by like week three, the guys that spent an hour a day on their roster, they were trying to make trades. I just lost interest. It just was too time consuming. So when we started to when I left college, I wanted to play on like the DraftKings and FanDuels because it was daily. It seemed like it was a lot easier, a lot quicker. But I was losing and losing and losing. And when I started to do some research, what I realized was there are 99.9% of winners on these platforms are algorithmic. So you have an individual or even sometimes teams, entire organizations and businesses that are submitting up to 150 entries per contest. So that's $1,500 per contest per day. And these guys, they're not casual fans. They're experts. They're pros. They have PhDs in statistics, econometrics, artificial intelligence, and so they're modeling these these outcomes. And they're winning the prizes because they're multi-million dollar prizes. There's a lot of money on the line. So it's not much of a game if you don't stand a chance of winning. So I wanted I wanted to initially find something that was, again, a social game that kind of felt like gambling, but wasn't gambling. It was more fantasy. Couldn't find anything. So I built it, and Mark joined me on that journey. We've built Bounty Sports, and at a high level, it's very simple. All you're doing is picking winning teams. So we run contests on our website right now, and you join the contest, and it might be a basketball contest, hockey contest, football contest, whatever it may be, and you're just picking which teams you think will win. If your favorites are worth 1 point, underdogs some degree greater than one. So if they're a small underdog, they might be worth 1.1 or 1.2 points. And if they're a heavy underdog, they might be worth 2, 3, 4, 5 points. If you get your selection right, you get that amount of points for that team. If you get your selection wrong, you don't get any points for that game, but you can still win all the other games in the contest. So you might lose the first 3 games, but you might win the next 9 and end up winning the contest still. It's like a parlay. Think of it as like a battle parlay where you're just picking winning teams, getting points for the correct selections, and trying to get them as many points as possible. The more points you get, the more you make. And that's simply put how the platform works. We launched late September 2020, so about 5 months ago, and we are now the fastest growing daily fantasy sports platform in North America. We have almost 15,000 users across North America, and we're in 24 states in Canada currently. We're a young company, so we're applying for a lot more licensing because we're fantasy sports and not gambling. Technically, it's a lot easier to get licenses. I always say it's like getting a moped license, but being able to drive a Ferrari. So we're applying for licenses in 13 more states in several countries as well. So, we obviously feel like we've built a better mousetrap, and we're now trying to bring that across North America and across the globe. So if it is in your state, great, go on, check it out, join the platform, download our app. If it's not, just rest assured it'll be there in the coming weeks and coming months. At the end of the day, it's an easy to learn platform. It's quick to play. Anybody can win. It's community driven. We like to describe this as democratizing fantasy sports. It's the fantasy sports for the guy that doesn't have enough time, for the person that's new to the sport or new to the country, even somebody that maybe doesn't, maybe they used to be a big fantasy guy, but or girl, but they don't have the time to keep up with it anymore. It's not for experts and pros. This is really for a simple way for a community to engage, test their knowledge, put a little skin in the game, win a little bit of cash, but really kind of build that sense of community and sense of sport around a very easy concept. And so that's Bounty Sports. I'll pass it off to Mark quickly to say a few comments as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. Yeah, hi guys. So my name's Mark. I'm the other founder here of Bounty Sports. I more on the marketing side. I lead all of our marketing and growth operations here. Yeah, I mean, I have a very similar fantasy sports backstory as Jess does. I'm a massive sports fan, always have been. Um, what was also kind of got roped into too many year-long fantasy sports leagues, and I just didn't have the time for it. So I was always looking more for kind of a daily game that I could check in and out of. Tried DraftKings, tried FanDuel, never seemed to be able to win. And as Jess and I looked more into it, we realized very quickly that those platforms are very much set up as algorithmic, and you have professional businesses, often halfway across the world, setting up models of 50 to 100 entries per game, and it really was just set up that your average player just wouldn't have the time or resources to be able to compete in those types of platforms. So yeah, so we developed Bounty. And like Jess said, it's really at its core, it's meant to be a really fun, really simple, easy fantasy sports pick'em style game where you're really meant to do it, with friends, compete against them, and really, like Jess said, it's like a battle parlay. You're picking who you think is going to win the games that day. You're putting up your picks against everyone else's, and hopefully competing to win real cash prizes. So that's really what Bounty is as its core. Obviously, today we're going to talk about our NFT project that's coming out this week called The League. Really excited about that, and I encourage you guys, please ask questions as we go through this. We've learned so much just getting into the NFT community, and getting your feedback has been incredibly beneficial for us. So I really encourage you guys to ask questions as we go along and present this to you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that.
As you guys go through everything, like whenever people ask questions, I will be I have a Google document that I copy and paste them, and then I do a check mark to make sure people know that like I've seen their question, and then we can ask it at the end, which is like a little bit easier for you guys.
No, that's awesome, and really appreciate that. Yeah, so that's basically it. So look, we're a real business, we're real founders, we're a real shareholder, or we have real shareholders. We are shareholders as well. We put our own money into this business. So we're a real company, we're a real brand, and I think that should give people faith. We're doxxed. I mean, I'm telling you where I live. You can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm a real guy. And in terms of this project itself, so I went. Actually, let me start here. The first thing on that same vein, or in that same vein, we actually aren't making any money off this project. So Mark and I get paid a salary from our shareholders. We are not making a single dollar from this project. We're doing this to grow our community. We think there's a huge opportunity here to bridge the gap between the NFT community, where there are a lot of sports fans already, and the sports gaming world, where maybe there are less NFT holders, but it's an easy way for them to understand what an NFT is, right? Because it's like, oh, it's a subscription to Bounty Sports. I already play on that. Oh, I just have to buy an NFT. So it's a way for us to bridge those two communities. So it was a really cool opportunity to grow the platform, and also get more and more engagement from our community, and just a really cool way to offer the sports gaming experience. So the reason why I tell you we're not making any money is because this is really not profit driven for us. There's no financial incentive. The only incentive for us is to continue to foster a strong community on our platform, which of course bolsters the business. So everything that we do is from mindset of being a community member ourselves, and trying to grow that community, and not from like a profit standpoint where if we give back $1 to the holder, then it's $1 out of our pocket, because it really doesn't affect us at all. So it puts us in a unique position to create what we've created today, which is the league. So if you go to the league.bountysports.com, this is our landing page for our platform. I'm going to get into the contest or the specific utility in a moment. But the one thing that I want to say, and the first thing I want to address, is the one question we often get is about global holders. So look, the reality is, like every gaming company, there's a lot of regulation restriction. This isn't going to be available, being the game itself, to everybody, but that doesn't mean that the NFT does not hold value and significant value. We actually believe that the most value, outside of all the utility that I'm about to get to in a minute, is the value of the fact that we are the fastest growing platform in North America. So there are the supply is 3,333. Well, let's just call it 3,000. The supply is 3,000 NFTs. We currently have 15,000 users, right? So that's about 1 in 5. But at the end of this year, we're on track to hit about 80,000 users. So that's 80,000 users at the end of this year, and there's still only 3,000 league members. In 1 year's time, we expect to have, at the end of this NFT, we expect to have 100,000 users or more. And again, there's still only going to be 3,000 league members. The reason why I'm telling you that is there's a lot of demand from our own group. As I mentioned earlier, we're bringing over a lot of sports fans into the NFT world. People, and as I'll get to in a second, have the chance to win over $100,000 on the website. There's going to be weekly contests for $2,500, monthly contests for $10,000. So when Bounty Sports continues to market like we do with the money from our shareholders, and we get a license in a new area, for instance, Ohio, then when people join the platform, they're going to see, the contest they regularly join, a $500 contest, an $800, $1,000. But every week they're going to see these contests for $2,500, $10,000. And they're going to ask themselves, like, how do I get in on that? How do I get in on those contests? And the answer is, the only way they can get in is to buy an NFT on the secondary market. So by extension of us growing our platform, there's going to be a much greater increased demand from our organic community that wants to get in on these contests. They're already playing on the site. There's a chance to win big prizes. They're going to want in. When you have a fixed supply and an increased demand, it's simple economics. The price goes up. Basic economics. So there's a huge amount of value simply holding this, even if you're in an unavailable region or an available region, because somebody is going to want this in a week's time, a month's time, 2 months' time, 3 months' time, a lot more. And the only way to get it is to buy it from you on the secondary. So there's some intrinsic value. You're basically buying into the growth of fantasy sports and buying into the growth of Bounty Sports, in addition to the utility itself. And so I don't want to lose sight of the value of that. And with that being said, I guess I'll get into the specifics of the utility of the NFT itself. So by holding this NFT, we're going to be running contests for $2,500 a month. $2,500 a week, every single week for 52 weeks. $10,000 contest a month, 12 months, and a $25,000 contest at the end of the year. So there's going to be around almost $300,000 given out in those contests alone, and which obviously is incredible. The thing is, this is not public contests. These aren't contests that anyone can join. This money is going right back to the holders. These are for NFT holders only. You can only join these contests if you have an NFT. So we're putting this money right back into the holders' pockets. It's free to join. It's not like you have to pay in addition to get into these contests. It's $2,500 a week up for grabs, $10,000 a month up for grabs, and $25,000 at the end of the year. So that's our basic contesting. In addition to that, we're actually going to be running one contest a week as well, to give out an NFT, a winner take all. The winner will get an additional NFT. So that's another contest every week. 52 of our NFTs will be given out throughout the year as well. We're also going to be running a contest. So 3 holders will be chosen at random to participate in a 3-person winner take all contest. So 3 people will be chosen to play against each other in one contest. The winner of that contest will win an all expense paid trip, flight, stay, and tickets to the Super Bowl next year. So 3 people randomly chosen, they play in a contest. The winner, it's for them and a friend, by the way, tickets to go to next year's Super Bowl. This is a tiered system, so there's 6 different levels, and I encourage you to look at our white paper and look at our landing page to kind of get the specific details. But tiers 3 and above will basically have a monthly balance boost added to their account. So we're literally giving you free cash on your account to play in contests every single month. It's free money for you. In addition to that as well, we're going to be doing monthly raffles. So this one here does apply to global holders. So, and it's also for multiple NFT holders. So for every 3 NFTs you hold, you'll get an entry into a monthly raffle. Okay. This raffle will send you and a friend to any sports experience package or trip in your local area. So it's you and a friend, flight stay, and tickets to any local sporting event. When I say local, I just mean in your country or region. So if you're in Australia and you want to go see an Aussie rules game, no problem. We'll send you an Aussie rules game. You're in the UK and you want to see Man City versus Man U, no problem. We'll send you to that game. If you're in North America and you want to see the NBA finals, we'll send you to that game. Again, 12 times a year, once a month, we're going to be running a raffle, all expense paid trip for you and a friend. And the way that you get in is to have 3 NFTs. So for every 3, if you have 9 NFTs, that's 3 entries. And when you think about it, there's 3,000 people that are going to be holders. There's not going to be that many people that have 3 NFTs or more. I don't know, maybe 100, maybe 200. So there's going to be 12 prizes amongst a pool of 100 or 200 people given out throughout the year. Your odds of winning are actually like quite high. And so we're really excited about this, especially because it applies to global holders as well. So if you're holding on to the NFT to buy in on the value that I spoke about earlier of being able to sell this down the line to when we continue to grow the platform, you can still cash in on these monthly prizes, which is pretty exciting. And the last thing I guess I'll mention is that there's a multiplier. So if you're playing in the public contest, and I'll give Nicky G as an example, he's a winning player. So Nicky G plays, call it $250 a month in contests, right? For every $100 that you spend or play in contest, because it's not really a spending because you can win money from it. But every $100 that you play in contests, you're going to get a 10% increase on your multiplier up to 2x. And that's going to apply to the weekly contests. So let's use Nicky G as the example. He spends $500 in 2 months. His NFT would have a 1.5x multiplier, 50% increase. So if Nicky G wins $1,000 in that weekly contest, he's actually going to win an extra $500. That's another $500 in that contest.
That's when I win the contest.
When he wins the contest. Yes, when you win the contest. When Nicky G wins, you'll win that extra $500. So that's great for 2 reasons. Number one, you can win more money. That's pretty cool. But the cooler part, in my opinion, is that you can now sell this NFT. So Nicky G, the astute businessman that he is, realizes he's playing in these public contests anyways. He's making money. He likes it. He's spending the money. So he goes and he buys an NFT at the floor, right? No multiplier. He's playing in contests or public contests, and sure enough, he's winning, and then he gets that NFT up to a 2x multiplier, which is the cap. He can now sell that NFT on the open market for a lot more money. Someone's going to come along and say, well, I can buy this NFT and I can get twice the amount of prize pool. Now the weekly contests are worth $5,000 to that individual. That's a lot of money, right? Because anything they win is going to be doubled. And so Nick can continue to buy these NFTs, continue to increase the value of the NFT by the multiplier, and then sell that NFT for more. So it gives you the power to increase the value of your asset. Look, all in all, there's about $750,000. I'm going to be very candid with the numbers with you guys. There's about $750,000 of value here that we're going to be giving away throughout the year, maybe slightly more than that, but in and around there. That's a lot of money. We're putting basically where the money goes from this project just to cover project costs and put money back into the utility itself. If we make any money over and above that, which, it wouldn't be a ton, it wouldn't be a life-changing amount, but if we do make any money over and above that, we will put that money towards and only towards expanding our licensing further. It's an expensive process. You're dealing with governments, you're dealing with bureaucrats, and most importantly, you're dealing with lawyers. So it becomes an expensive process. So if we do make any money over and above, we'll use that to help us expand across North America and across the globe even quicker. We think we've built a better mousetrap. We know that our community inherently gains value if we grow quicker. So it's in a way, it's giving it back to you guys as well, because we're going to be able to put this better mousetrap into more people's hands globally, and maybe into your hands if you're in a restricted region. So in a nutshell, look, that's our bread and butter. I'll leave you with this. Like, we're pretty authentic guys. We're not making money off this. This is a chance for us to continue to grow our business and grow our platform. We're pretty open and candid about what we're doing here and where the money goes and how it works. We're authentic. We're a real business. We have real shareholders that care a lot about this project and care a lot about the rest of our business. So this project is important to us because it affects the rest of our business. So, we're just basically real guys that are giving real value back. And we do hope that this sets the standard. Our white paper is very clear and easy to read. We're very straightforward about how the money works. And we're trying to give real value. And as more brands enter this space, Some brands choose to take advantage of the community in the sense that they give very little utility back. And we hope that this changes the MO of these brands, and they don't look at it as a get-rich-quick scheme or a way to make a lot of money really quickly. And instead, they look at it the way that we've looked at it, which is it's a great way to grow your community and grow your brand. But in order to do that, you have to give back to the holders, the ones that have kind of helped you get there. So that's kind of our approach, and we hope that more and more people and more brands will take that approach. So that's all for me. Mark, do you have any final comments?
No, that was good. I think a lot to unpack there, so I'm sure you guys will have lots of questions about the specific utilities and some of the offerings within the league. I guess the best way I would describe it is really think of this as a year-long subscription to an all-access pass to a year's worth of fantasy sports contesting, where you can win, hundreds of thousands of dollars in real cash prizes, as well as Jess mentioned, those really cool sports experience packages like trips to the Super Bowl, local games, things like that. But instead of it just being a subscription that you buy, it's an asset. And again, that's really originally we were planning on doing a subscription model like this to begin with. And when we spoke to Nikki G, it just made sense to package this as an NFT so that the holder can own that asset, control the value of it through that prize multiplier, but hopefully drive that up to a 2x multiplier, and at that point either continue to win and make money through the games, or put it up on the secondary where you can make a profit on that membership asset. So that's really how we like to describe it, and it just made sense for us. It really kind of merged these two great worlds together of sports gaming and NFTs, and that's why we did this project. So it's very much more of a marketing and growth project for us as opposed to a profit-driven project like Jess mentioned. And really our goal here is to introduce a really cool, fun game to new communities online, which is what we've kind of built our business on to begin with. So at a high level, that's really what we're looking to do.
Yeah, that's awesome, Mark. And with that being said, guys, I think we're going to open it to questions. Zero, I guess at the top, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, so one of the questions I was just gonna do a couple that are, someone said that will there be any DAO?
No plans for a DAO. So a DAO, just Mark, it's a decentralized autonomous organization where basically voting, it's kind of like a shareholders board, but in Web3, decentralized voting board. I don't think there's plans for a DAO because they are a company, right? Like they are a real corporation. They operate in the Web2 space, but they're bridging it into Web3. So
Right.
The DAO would just be one step that I don't think makes sense for them as a company to make. So to make decisions like that, no, but they will take suggestions. As far as I understand, take suggestions from the community.
Yeah, thanks for hopping in there, Nick. That's why he's valuable. That's why we have Nikki G here, guys. Look, I'll be candid with you. We're sports gaming guys. We're not NFT guys. That's why we bring on great advisors like Nikki. Yeah, I'll be candid with you though. That's not in the works. Look, you guys probably don't even want to be. You don't want to be involved in the sports gaming side. There's a lot of regulation and declaration in terms to the government of who you are, like identity checks. It's not as simple as just having a shareholders board because we're such a regulated industry. So it's just not a possibility here. But what I would say is, in the future, we do plan to incorporate more Web3 elements into what we're doing. And that's where we really rely on our community. So I would say it would be more of a community driven thing. But we do rely heavily on our community to help us make future decisions about the product state and what the product can do in development and all that sort of stuff. So your feedback is listened to and heard, but from a regulatory perspective, it's just not feasible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not something that's 100% needed. Like, oh my God, you're not going to do a DAO. It's just usually it's one of those things that a lot of projects like to have, just to give make everyone feel like they have a voice and whatnot. But it doesn't mean you're not going to listen to the people, the holders. I mean, it sounds like you guys are going to be taking advice and criticisms and concerns from your holder base to keep them happy. And so I was going to say, I can't remember if you dropped any numbers, but how many people do you guys already have? How many that are working on your platform right now? Because you guys already have a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 5 now, Brooks, 5 full time and about 8 to 10 part-time. I think 10 part-time. We just hired 2 more. So 5 full-time, 10 part-time. Sorry, it's hard to keep track because we're doing more hiring. So that team's going to grow about 6 or 7 full-time, and probably about 15 part-time in the near future. So that's internally our team. Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
Zero, I'm not sure if you meant in
Yeah.
terms of our user base, but
Yeah,
right
I
now,
think yeah.
15.
I like the answer. I think it gave me give more information to know that you guys are. But yeah, I was more asking about the user base, just to let people know that like you guys are like already successful. Like this project's already successful.
Oh,
Your main
yeah.
thing is the reason why people are like, oh, what, they don't want to make money. That doesn't make any sense. But like the thing is that you guys are already making money, like being successful through the Web 2, but you guys are trying to like bridge it to Web 3 to get more of a reach, and that's why you're not like, oh,
Yeah.
you don't care. You guys are just gonna throw all the money back into the project and give people weekly giveaways, the monthly giveaways, and the year, at the end of the year giveaway as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mark and Jess.
exactly.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So right now we've got 15,000 players on the platform, and again, we just started the marketing side in kind of halfway through the NFL season of last year. So we're growing at about 3,200 users a month right now, 15,000 total on the platform, and we expect that by the end of 2022 to be between 60 to probably closer to 80,000 users, and 100,000 in a year's time. So like we mentioned, fastest growing platform right now, and that's exactly right. Like we've had success finding online communities. One of our big drivers early on was Twitch, and then we migrated to YouTube streamers, and now Discord's been a big driver for us. So like we said, this is very much a marketing and growth project, and to continue to migrate communities together and create a really fun, engaging game that can live, and kind of bridge that Web 2, Web 3 gap. So that's what this project's all about, and we've had success doing that so far, and that's why we're really committed to this NFT launch.
Yeah, look, like we have skin in the game, guys. Just to further that, again, I'll be very candid with you guys. We have skin in the game. Our skin in the game is that we own Bounty Sports. We're a large portion of Bounty Sports, which is a real company that can be sold on the stock market. It can be sold privately down the line, or we can produce just profits as you identified. So, like Bounty Sports itself is where we make our money. We're just not looking to make money off the NFT project. Where we think there's the most value is if we can continue to grow our audience and continue to grow our re-engagement and our engagement rates. Like that to us are the metrics that we look at as a company, and that's why this is such a good space. So we don't need to double dip. We don't need to make money off the company and off the NFT community. Let's just let's take the community to grow our platform, and then that's how we will in turn be successful. So hopefully that's clear. I'll always be clear with you guys about how I make money.
Awesome, thank you for that. Let me get a couple more questions in it, and I do apologize if some people have come in like later or whatever, and we might answer the same question, but it'll be good. It'll help clarify for people. Someone was asking, what's the plan with the website and the games that you guys plan to do?
Okay, so product development itself is probably more the question, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. So we're actually going to be doing a big UX UI overhaul, so it's going to look even cleaner. It's going to be kind of like a fintechy feel, which should be out in the next 4 to 6 weeks. In the next 8 to 10 weeks, we're going to have private pools, so individuals can actually go out, create their own pool, and invite their friends. So it's not right now; it's just public. So you join a public pool, kind of like the ESPN pools or whatever. This is now going to be a private, so you can create your own pools. We're adding new sports, so we're going to be adding tennis. We're going to be adding NASCAR. We're going to be adding golf, which is already on there, but we're going to expand golf. And there was one other. Oh, esports. We're looking at adding esports. So those should come in the next 3 to 4 months. And one cool project we're looking at doing is integrating Bounty Sports as a free-to-play game, so anyone can play actually through Discord for communities like this. So the Gojira community can actually have Bounty Sports games hosted through the Discord, where they can just either for bragging rights or even for like whitelist giveaways and stuff like that. So we've really embraced this space and this community, and we've had such a positive feedback from it that we plan to actually try to integrate our website further with the Discord and the NFT world. So yeah, that's just a little insight. I mean, I could probably sit here and look at our development pipeline and go on forever. I'm super passionate about it, but I would say those are some of the things in the immediate future.
Awesome. And like so a lot of that stuff that you were like talking about with like expanding it to esports, and like is there how does that just for your, a question, like how does that
Yeah.
benefit the holders? Like as you guys expand more, like how does that
Yeah.
benefit the holders of the NFT?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, esports is a massive audience, right?
Yeah, it's like that
So
that esports is a global thing for sure because for me, I'm like a huge League of Legends fan and I used to play it all the time. Well, I still play it all the time, but the main thing is that like I watch like LCK, which is Korea, and like all those different ones. So it's like esports, I feel like it encompasses the whole entire world even more than like actual, real physical sports.
yeah, it does. It does. I mean, the esports championship. Well, the name I can't remember the name right now. I had more viewers in the Super Bowl, so it's a massive audience. So by extension of us offering games in that space, it allows us to grow the number of people that we're targeting. Like, so one of the things that we've done a lot of work with is YouTube influencers, but we're limited, right? Because it's kind of like we work with YouTube influencers in the sports world or like sports games, Madden, FIFA. But if we could go into esports and Call of Duty and League of Legends and all that, you can think about the number of influencers that we would have at our disposal, quote unquote, and their audiences that we could target. So it allows us to grow quicker, grow cheaper, and expand our product farther and farther, and especially as we look to get some of those licenses more globally. And by extension of that, again, the key here is that as Bounty Sports grows and as we have contests, and maybe some of these contests are these $2,500 weekly contests are esports contests, then by extension of that, there's going to be people that want to play in them, and the only way that they can get in on them is to buy the NFT. So anytime that Bounty grows, just know that your asset's going to continue to grow in value. So if we can tap into a new exciting market, especially globally, it's going to provide value for the business as much as it will the holders.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. And then like just about like the giveaways, like someone was like saying that they just like noticed that you do the weekly giveaways for holders of multiple NFTs. Like how do you plan to accomplish that?
Monthly. Yeah. So we'll be working with Pegsy to randomize all that. So we worked with Pegsy. Mick, I might get you to jump in to speak a little bit about them, but Nick, why don't you tackle this? Because you're actually much better at, or you have a better understanding of Pegsy and what they've done in the past.
Sorry, I think there was the question. Cool. It was that giving away the NFTs weekly, right?
Yeah, well, I was talking about. I think the person's question was just like about the weekly giveaways, like of multiple NFTs. I'm not sure if like they're talking about holding multiple NFTs or if it's just like how do you
Oh,
plan on
so
like funding that kind of stuff.
yeah, so there is
Hey, Nick, you there?
Hello? Shit.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Okay, good. Yeah, so there is a weekly, I believe it's in the roadmap. It's a weekly giveaway.
Yeah, there. Just to clarify here, I think there's some confusion. So there's a weekly contest where people can play on the Bounty Sports website in a contest and win a free NFT. Then there's a
Yeah.
monthly prize. There's a monthly giveaway, right, where we will randomly choose a winner that has three NFTs. So for every three NFTs you have, it'll be one entry. All of that is managed by the development company. So it's Pegsy, which I'll let Nick speak to in a minute about some of the projects that they've worked on, but they have all the back end figured out on this. They actually have a set database. They've done this for other projects, so they can tell which holders have three NFTs or more, how many NFTs they have, and then they can do a randomized draw based on that. So that's basically how it'll be done. It'll be managed by our developers. It's not Bounty Sports randomly picking people. It's that we just randomly choose from all the holders that have three NFTs, and all of it will be made public while we actually do the draws as well. And Nick, maybe you can comment a bit on Pegsy as a developer and some of the projects they've worked on.
Yeah, so Pegsy, very, very talented team. So they're actually the guys who innovated the ERC 721A standard contract. They posted it open source. The reason they didn't take credit for it is because that's not why they're doing it. They were doing it to make the space a better place. So when Azuki adopted that contract and blew up, they were able to take, the credit for making that contract. But it was, in actuality, it was Pegsy that first published it and posted it open source. You can check the founder, his Twitter, when he made the Twitter thread about it. But yeah, they're a very talented team. They've worked on a lot of projects in the background.
Yeah, they're a great team. So they'll be the ones managing. They'll be the ones managing that, and so it'll all be done from the back end.
It's great. Yeah, I don't have too many more questions that are here. I asked some of the ones of my own, then I jotted down the ones from people in the how to later. I'm gonna check back to see if there's anyone Let's see. Honestly, yeah. I mean, people are just talking about how great the white paper is right there. Someone says y'all mentioned this is like owning a year-long subscription. What happens after the year passes? Will it be renewed? I think that you guys burn the NFT and then it's like a remint.
Yeah, so it is a yearly pass. I'd love to give you guys $2,500 a week in perpetuity. I really would. Unfortunately, obviously, the utility eventually runs out. The funds run out. That's why we designed it as a year long pass. One of the questions is like, well, as the year goes on, like, doesn't it become less valuable? So I'm just going to tackle that right off the hop. Number one, a lot of the big contests are back end loaded. Super Bowl next year is closer to the end of the year. The $25,000 contest is in the last week of it. So there's a lot of prizes to be won at the end of the year to help maintain the market. And further to that, we're going to have the most amount of users we've ever had at the end of the NFL season next year, which is on the back quarter of the holding. So there's still going to be a high demand because we're running these contests every week and every month still for more months, or for a few more months. So there's a natural market. Like, my background's finance, so and Mark as well. So when we designed this, we designed it in a way to sustain a market over the entire year. Now there will be an opportunity to get it whitelisted into next year's. So here's how it works. Tiers 4, 5, and 6. I think 4s get whitelist automatically. 5s get whitelist at half off, and tier 6, the top tier, gets a free NFT in next year's whitelist, or next year's mint, I should say. The remaining around 3,000 holders or so, or I guess just under that, they will, the first 1,000 people to burn their NFT will get a whitelist spot in next year's. So basically, you're going to have a decision to make at the end. Do I want to burn my NFT, or do I want to compete in these final contests and still have a chance at making some money? And that's a decision people will make. It kind of makes it fun and interesting. But about 13 or 1,400 people of the 3,000 will be able to get a whitelist spot in next year's drop. And it will allow you to also sell your NFT at the end as well, because someone that wants a whitelist into next year can just buy the NFT from you to get that whitelist spot. So yeah, that's basically how we're sustaining the market and how we'll be able to allocate spots in next year's mint.
Oh, yeah, very cool. I think that answered the question full. Go ahead.
When you think about it, like, you really have to think about this as the market is only getting bigger. It's a basic, economics, supply and demand line. So as Bounty Sports grows in the Web2 industry, as they get more players and users, and as those users learn about this new subscription that they're offering, and they onboard into the Web3 space, the demand for these passes is going to go up, right? So next year, when the decision comes that, okay, am I going to be joining this or not? There's going to be a lot more users on the actual Bounty platform that will want to use the pass, right? And you know what? Like, there's so much room for innovation with these guys and their platform and integrating Web3 into it. Like, I can spit out 100 different ideas right now that would make it so much cooler for next year, right? And that's talks that I'm going to have with these guys on how to improve the whole system overall, right? So when you think about it, like, I know they touched on it a bit, like partnering with other communities. Like, we've done a lot of AMAs in these communities. We've done a lot of different chats with different projects and influencers, and it's very easy for these guys to run a contest within that community, like they said, to win whitelists, to win NFTs, to do all that, right? There's so much room for innovation, and it already is such a cool market. So as the demand gets higher and the supply is already low, especially when you're talking about burning NFTs, that's deflationary, right? So if you have a 1-year membership and it's deflationary and demand is ever growing through their company, through their actual marketing efforts, to me, it just sounds like not only is there value from a gamer's perspective, now there's value from a investor's perspective if you're looking at the NFT as an investment, right? So that's just one thing I wanted to touch on. And just honestly, as a user of the platform, that I use it so much, is like, it's so simple for me to go on for 2 minutes, pick the teams that I like, that I think are going to win a game, and then enter that contest, right? That's how I've done it. That's how I've played every time, every week when I go on and I make my picks. It doesn't take long. When I'm picking teams on DraftKings or Bet365, it's so much harder because you have all these odds that I frankly don't know what they mean, right? And when I'm picking team members, like players on DraftKings, it's hard because, you have a budget. You got to say who's going to play well this game, what this, what that. It's super simple for me to use Bounty as a like a front end user, as somebody and I've told these guys this feedback, like how they can make it better all the time as a user. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing, guys. I don't want to go too much. I know we have only about 5 more minutes here, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Nick. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we're always looking to innovate, and it is supposed to be an easy, simple to use platform. And like, we really spent a lot of time ironing out our white paper. Like we could have rushed into this, and we could have tried to when the NFT market was hot, but we really took our time and we're thorough about this. And we're confident in this mint. We're not one of the hypest projects out there. We know we're not. What we're doing is we're going out and we're building evangelists. The ones that are in our community really support us. It's from AMAs like this, taking an hour and talking to people, answering questions, explaining what we're doing. That's how we've built our community. And there's a lot of value in that because the people that we have in our community, in our Discord, the 3,000 plus people really believe in what we're doing. And for us, like that is what's most important, is really just building an audience that believes and understands the value. And so we're excited. And so with that being said, like I said, supply 3,333, mint price is 0.099 ETH, so just under 1 ETH. It's kind of, probably the most famous sports number out there. You got Gretzky, you got Aaron Judge. I mean, I could go on. So that's the play.
0.0099, Jess.
Yeah, 0.0.
0.099, the Gretzky mint, guys.
Yeah, not 0.0099. 0.0. Yeah, I said 0.099. It's 0.1 ETH minus 0.01. That's what it is. That's where we're at.
There you go.
Okay, we're all there. Okay. So that's the price, and we're minting this Thursday. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested, I don't know, Zero, if you guys are cool, if you've posted the link yet to our Discord. I don't know if that was a plan or not, but if you want to, I mean, that'd be great if you could. People can go check us out. We have a bunch of resources linked in there. We have some great mods. We have some of our own like actual Bounty Sports team members in there answering questions. And it's a fun community. There's still a couple OG roles, I think, left and a few whitelist spots. We run poker events and stuff like that every night to win spots. It's a super fun group. So if you guys want to join, we'd love to have you out. Yeah. Is there any other questions, Zero Cool, or anything from you?
Yeah. So someone was just asking to clarify about so he lives in West Africa and he's just wondering what benefits he can get because he's curious about like what happens to people that live in other countries.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean, I can go over it again. So you have basically two core things. The first thing is that, again, you can sell this asset. This asset is a membership. Our membership demand, there's 15,000 people, 3,000 members, right? In a few months, there's going to be 80,000 members, 3,000 members, and still in demand of 80,000 people. So you're going to be able to sell this to somebody that wants in on the membership on Bounty Sports as it is, to somebody that lives in an available region. So that's number one. Number two is you have access to the global side of things. So, or the experiential giveaways. 12 times a year, we're giving an all expense paid trip to something in your local market. So, and if you want to go to a soccer game, you want to go to a cricket game, you want to go to an Aussie rules game, like whatever it may be, we'll send you and a friend, flight, tickets, everything, all expense paid trip to an event in that market. So, that's the intrinsic value for the global holder.
Awesome. But yeah, if there's any other questions, you guys have to get going. Is that what I heard?
No. We have a few more minutes. If there's more questions, by all means, we have another AMO in like 12 minutes. But like, please fire off these questions. This is why we're here.
I don't know. Looks like there's not too many questions. For the lucky people that are here, Nikki G up above said that he said to do a Jira raid and might be giving out some whitelist or something like that if you go in there and spread some love in the Bounty Sports.
Yes.
In the Discord channel. So if you guys go in there, if you're in the outer layer chat, there's a link to the Discord, and these guys have been generous enough to hook up some of the Jira fam, and it's even more special because there's like not a ton of people here, so it's like better chances for everyone. And if there's no more questions, I'll give you guys a few more minutes to, put some questions. But I got to say, thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you, Nikki G. It sounds like you might be out and about right now and still tuning in to be here with us to help answer all the questions, which is great. You guys are a great little trio there. When one doesn't know the answer, the other does. And it's just impressive when you guys, you have an AMA and there's doing these all day long and stuff like that, and you guys come out here and know all your stuff, and just like you guys are fully doxed, and if you're a sports fan, this just seems like an awesome NFT to get a part of, and not sitting here being like, oh, this is, you guys are gonna buy this and flip this. It's more like you get value every single week by being a part of these giveaways and being able to do the pick'ems and all that good stuff. And for me, I used to do DraftKings like all the time, years ago, and this is like a lot like that, and it's like bridges into the Web3 world. And it's like just a really cool thing. And like I said at the beginning, some people are like, what's Bounty Sports? Like, what is that? Why are you bringing that? Bring some more hype stuff in. Like hype stuff is cool, but like not all the hype stuff is like good for the community for the space right now, because a lot of this hyped up stuff is like just like bought hype, purchased hype. And I'm trying to look for more projects that are, out there trying to like put themselves out there, fully doxing yourself, LinkedIn, pictures, like all that good stuff. You're not hiding behind anything. You guys are like successful businessmen. You have a business already, like, and you're successful and you have tons of subscribers already. You have a team working with you. You guys are, when I see people like look for good people that are in, like, you guys don't know the NFT space well. So what'd you do? You went to Nikki G, someone who's been in the NFT space, like deep in the NFT space for a long time. And, you reached out, and I appreciate that, and it shows like, it just shows like some initiative to like want to like better your project and do all that stuff. And it's just so cool that, most people are out here doing these NFTs, and they start a project so they can just make a bag. You guys are out here to actually grow your fan base and your user base instead of just trying to make money. You guys have the money. You guys are already have the platform going, and you're trying to branch in and onboard more people. And like Nikki G was saying, is the really cool thing about all the people that are using the Web 2 version of it. It will help onboard people into this space, which is like super, super, super cool. And it looks like, you guys are doing a really good job of it, really well thought out, thorough white paper. And, you guys are just like, whenever we had talked, you guys hopped on a voice call with me and you guys told me all about it. And Nikki G was there, and you guys are super informative and super helpful. And you guys are even kind enough to come in here and explain everything for all of the good people here, all the Jira fam here, and to even be generous enough to, like, if you guys go in and spread some love inside the bounty to get some potentially get some OG roles, which is even better than a whitelist role, I do believe. So that's very cool. And I just like thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for taking time out to do this. And
100%.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hey, I
thanks.
really appreciate you. Zero.
Yeah,
Appreciate you so much, man. We're going to be working together a lot, my man. I'm going to be talking to you a lot. Really appreciate all the value you bring to the community and everything. And now you're on the core team, and big congratulations to you for that, for joining the core team here at Jira. That's a huge, huge step for you, man. And I wanted to congratulate you on that. Everybody here, like, give it up for Zero. He's been working his ass off for this community. He reps you guys 100% all the time. And we're going to have to look into see if there's any cool ways to implement the Jira token or something with y'all.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. We're like, this is the kind of talk and the kind of things that like need to happen more and more in the NFT space. I get really frustrated with the whole collab situation, because collabs are like, hey, here's some whitelist, you give me some whitelist, cool. Now, go and do your project. I don't really care. That's not what a collab is to me. In my opinion, collabs need to be working together to better the space. And like when we keep on thinking about the space as my project, we need to start thinking we, because people don't just own one NFT. People own NFTs across several different communities and several different types. Some are PFP ones, some are tokenomics, some are staking, some are play to earn, and now we got sports ones and music ones coming out. And the thing that we need to do is just like come together as like a space and work together and like better this stuff and like support good projects with founders who care, with doxed founders that are like putting their own money and have been working on this project. So many projects that you guys invest in, they literally haven't started working at all. All they did was pay for marketing and paid for hype, and then they're like, oh, hey, get there, and okay, cool, now we're going to start building now that we've got all your money. And like that, to me, that doesn't make any sense. And you guys are taking a really good approach. And I feel like this is some of this stuff. It might not take off immediately, but I feel like as people start understanding more of the NFT space and like all the different cool utilities that different projects can bring, I think that it's going to be a really cool thing. And it's going to just make the space way, way, way better. And so I appreciate you guys for that. And yes, Nikki G, we will be working together. I will definitely be coming on the show. You guys over there, the G babies, are huge Jira supporters. I was in that AMA, and everyone was asking questions, want to know about Gojira, Gen 2, and all that good stuff. And so I'll probably have to swing by again for one of your guys' podcasts and, drop some information for you guys.
My man, thank you guys.
Yeah, I love it. Really appreciate it. Cool. Thanks for your time, man. Really appreciate you hyping us up. And again, we look forward to seeing the whole community in the Discord. Share some hype, share some love, and still some final roles to be won before our mint on Thursday. So thank you, everybody, for your time. And again, thank you to you, Cool. Really appreciate it.
Alrighty, and I will have to say this is very funny. You guys are the first people that have ever called me just cool. Usually it's Zero or Zero Cool. So I find that to be really awesome and hilarious. So I appreciate that. And we'll talk soon, okay? Thanks, guys. Thanks, all the Jira fam, for coming out. And like I said, go stop by the server and spread some love. And, maybe Nikki G and them will bestow some whitelists and OG roles onto you guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks so
Alrighty.
much, guys.
Yep. Thank you.